So welcome to this podcast with me, Chris Jones, founder of the London Screenwriters Festival, filmmaker, and also the guy who runs Talent Campus. And we're here to talk about Talent Campus success stories today. This is part of an ongoing series of podcasts. I'm joined by Vera over in... Where are you in the world, Vera?
I'm in Germany, in Frankfurt, or just outside Frankfurt am Main. There are two Frankfurts. Most people don't know that. I'm near the one with the airport.
Okay, amazing. So you did Talent Campus, before the pandemic, the other side of the universe it feels now. Were you Talent Campus 2?
2 in 2016.
Wow, that was a
long time.
It is a long time ago. So, I mean, what was your Talent Campus experience like?
It was extremely positive and at the same time kind of embracing me and opening up all kinds of doors to me. I'd been kind of dabbling in screenwriting for a few years at that time, getting the craft down and all that. But what Talent Campus was doing was opening this community in a different way, connecting me to people in a different way that had much more meaning and purpose. And it stuck with me because some of my very best friends I met at Talent Campus.
Okay. So what I want to do is dive into what followed Talent Campus. And it's not like Talent Campus made all of these things happen. We're part of your journey through life. And I think journey is the right way to describe it. But there are three particularly interesting beats that I'd like to talk about. There's short films. There's a kind of featured docudrama project that came directly through relationships at Talent Campus. And then there's also theatre, which most recently you've been pivoting in. But why don't we start with the short films, because they're also, one of them at least is connected with Create 50. Tell us about the story of how those two films came about.
All right, so the one you referred to, Create 50, that was Courage and Kindness in 2015. So that was actually pre-Talent Campus, but it was part of the whole LSF circuit. It was the Create 50 challenge, which resulted in my script, my short script, Psyche, about a little boy and a butterfly and a lot of soul stuff, which happened to win that competition. And which was just a major thrill for me. Like, people actually thought this was the best of the lot. Doesn't usually happen to me. And that was picked up a couple of years later by a young German film director who I knew through some theatre friends. And he said, I want to make this, I want to make a short film, and I hear you do that kind of thing. You write short films. By that time, I'd written a number of short scripts because I liked the format. And he read it and he said, I want to make that film. And it turned into a beautiful little film of about 10, 12 minutes that did reasonably well at festivals here in Germany. It was all done in Germany. And actually picked up a couple of awards. So that was a really nice outcome of the Create 50 venture.
So just talking about that short film, Psyche, that was based on a 2-page short film screenplay, which of course, we often hear people say, I don't have time to write, or for whatever reason, they're not getting around to it. But this was 2 pages. Like, everybody can write a 2-page script.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's also, apart from being a fantastic exercise to hone your craft skills, just to get a story across in a very condensed way. And then it turns out that the film was much longer than the script, and they added some bits, some of which I liked, some of which I didn't. But that's the business. You give your baby away, and somebody else puts it into toddler clothes.
Right. And what do you think you learned from that entire process?
I think one of the most important bits for me to learn was that I can have success, and I also need to let go then and let other people go and run with this thing that I've created. Because as I indicated, they made some choices that I'm not entirely happy with, or I would have done it differently had I directed the film. But it was part of the deal, and the result is good. So I'm happy with that. And
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a team sport, and better to have your name on the credits on something that you don't necessarily 100% agree with than not have your name on the credits but be right.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be sole credit owner, then go and write a book,
Right.
which is an option. And for some stories, I would want to do that. But in
Yeah.
this case, it was, yeah, okay, that's fine with me.
Okay. And let's move on to your second film, The Blue Widow, where you directed. Obviously, much more hands-on experience. What was that like for you?
Oh, that was fabulous. That was such fun. It was basically, I thought, I want to make a film. I want to be the boss for this one, and I just want to try this out as a creative endeavor. I had another young filmmaker among my friends, and we get along very well. We're really very good partners. And I said, I just want to do this to see what it feels like. And I don't care if this particular film is successful, whatever that means. You define your own success. And so we set out, and I wrote the script. It was a bit of a crazy idea. And we went in it for the fun and the experience. For him, it was a way to showcase his skills as a director of photography. And for me, it was a huge learning curve. Like on the first day on set, everything was ready, and they all turned to me and looked at me, and I said, "What do I do now?" And they said, "Well, look in the monitor and say action." And it turned out to be such a fantastic team experience. Everyone working together. I mean, I had a fabulous team. Actors, cast and crew, they all got on like a house on fire. And just to see this thing come to life and to learn how much patience you need, how you have to do the same take 8, 7, 15 times to get it right, was an amazing experience. And then the whole post-production, my DOP and I, we basically did that together, the editing, and then to see it come together, create the music, find a composer who did exactly what I wanted, and then to have a finished product that just continues to bring me joy. It's not the greatest film on earth, but I just enjoy it. And that was worth every penny of it. Even if, I paid for it, I didn't make money with it, but it was so satisfying creatively that, yeah.
Right. What did you learn anything particularly on that journey compared to Psyche?
Yes, because I was far more involved. In Psyche, I only provided the script, and they invited me to be on set, and they kept asking me about things. Was I happy with this choice and what that choice? And I very much appreciated that. But with Blue Widow, I called the shots, and that was an amazing feeling.
Right. Controlling your destiny, which is, central part of Talent Campus, is don't wait for permission, seek forgiveness, and just get on with it, because we'll end up waiting forever if we're waiting for somebody else to make it happen for us.
Yes.
So the next thing, we obviously had the pandemic after Blue Widow, but out of the pandemic, there seemed to be, two things that happened for you. One was this feature project, and your kind of, I suppose, growing interest in environmentalism, or at least expressed interest in environmentalism. Let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about your pivot into theatre.
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, my interest in environmentalism has always been with me. It's been ever since I was a teenager. I was kind of concerned with the health of the planet. And at some point, it was actually at the very beginning of my screenwriting endeavors, I was pitching to an agent, and he said, "Do you have an agenda?" And I sat back and I said, "Yes, I guess I do." And I realized that my environmentalism was feeding into my stories. And then I kind of, now when I look at my stories, they're all about to some degree about, parents and children, and we as parents need to make this world livable for our children. And then that's when I discovered that I can convey a message through my stories. And the message is we need to do something about the health of this planet. And then, something funny happened. I was a bit frustrated with the whole screenwriting malarkey, because also, I guess it's partly because I'm here in Germany, but I do not write for the German market, and I'm just not made for that. But I'm also not in the UK or in the States or wherever, and it is a little bit difficult to get into the industry if you live in a different country. And so I'd kind of given up and thought, I'll return to writing prose and short stories, and I've got these books floating around my head. And it was at that point that through Talent Campus Connections, I get a call from Carol Griffith, who said, you do environmental stuff, don't you? I'm working with this German documentary company, and we're looking for a screenwriter to write the script for this feature film we have in mind, which is a combined fiction documentary. And it was actually another talent camper who had suggested my name to Carol Griffiths. So it's really all coming together. And so I made contact with this documentary company. And from that grew a project where I was involved for about 2 years, co-developing the format, which is like a proper interweaving of documentary and fictional content. And it's a very interesting approach, because I've always thought, you get these messages like don't look up, and everybody loves it and cheers for it, but will they go home and do things differently? I'm not sure. On the other hand, documentaries, if we only go for the documentary style, that's not going to reach many people. We need to combine these two. So this project was really handed to me on a silver platter, and I couldn't believe it. It's still in the making, and this is one of the reasons why I eventually then turned to theatre, which we'll talk about a little bit, because I have the feeling the bigger the project gets, the longer it takes to be made. Obviously, there's so many more people involved. You need to find far more money to get it off the ground and all that. And you need a lot of stamina. And that is something, not so much that I don't have the stamina, but I wanted to move on to new creative endeavors. And so I said, okay, my work is finished. The script is finished. At some point, they wanted some more paid rewrites, but my contract was fulfilled. And I didn't have time because I was in the theatre. And so I handed it on to another talent camper. Because they thought, they asked me, do you know anybody who can write this? And I thought, oh, actually, I do. It's Desi Leong. So it was another really, really interesting experience, because I got far more insights into the real industry, the real business, and what the challenges are there, and also the different styles between this internationally minded fiction production company and the German mindset of the documentary filmmakers. So that was very interesting. But to be honest, I'm glad I've done my bit. I'm happy with the creative fulfillment I found in there, but then I needed to move on and do something else.
Right. And that leads us very nicely into your theatre work, because, I mean, we spoke with Panayota the other day, and she had a similar journey, perhaps flipped. She went, did theatre and then has made some short films. But the immediacy and the control that you have in putting theatre together, similar skill set, certainly from a production perspective, lots of moving parts, but also, a live performance that happens, every night or 3 times a day, whatever it is, the format that you're doing, and also the ability to connect with the audience and be present as the creator when it's performed, and feel that energy that is created during the creation of a one-off event, because it is a one-off. Every performance is different. How did you get into that, and how did you find the journey?
Well, I have always loved the theatre. Some people sometimes ask me, where did you learn your English? And the answer is in the theatre, because when I was 14, I joined a local amateur dramatical society that happened to be English. And so it's always been part of my life. And I had been a member for, about 6-7 years now of a professional theatre company here in Frankfurt, Shakespeare Frankfurt. And we do lots of classical theatre, predominantly Shakespeare, hence the name. And so I'd been a member of that ensemble for quite a few years, sometimes acting, sometimes on the production side as stage manager or props master. And when the next play came up this past summer, and it was going to be Much Ado About Nothing, and our artistic director knows that is like my favorite Shakespeare play, he actually offered me to be directing this. And it was like, holy cow, can I do this? I'm not sure, but yes, I'll do it. And this was a little bit of a talent campus lesson, I think. Just don't ask, don't question yourself, just go for it. You'll figure out how to do it. And it was an excruciating journey, because there was so much I had to do on top of a day job. I mean, I was doing 3 months of 70 hours a week, and it was fantastic. It was, working with the actors, thinking about staging it. The real perk about this was that every summer we perform in the Botanical Garden in Frankfurt, so it's outside. It's a promenade performance. And you have actors literally emerging from the bushes and all that kind of stuff. And it was a lot of hard work, but it really paid off, because, yes, you mentioned that term, the immediacy of theatre. It's, you are out there and you have no excuse. You feel you're not ready, but, it's in the calendar. People have bought the tickets. They're standing outside the gate. You better get on with it.
Yeah.
And you support each other so everyone can get on with it. And it was immensely satisfying. Of course, there were moments when I thought, I can't do that. I'm going to leave the country and let somebody else deal with it. But it all worked out in the end. And the one thing that really always makes me smile, so many people came to me and said, oh my God, you created such beautiful visuals. And I thought, I guess it's because of my film background. It was very, very, very satisfying.
And how did it feel at the end of the night when, I'm assuming you always got a big round of applause. Did you get out on the stage with the cast?
Yeah, I did. But, it's our tradition to do that only on opening and on closing night.
Right. So how did it feel on opening and closing?
It's like, oh my God, I'm out there in the front. People see that I'm the one behind this. Actually, it's not too bad. But it's that, like, you want to be seen, but you don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
Because if you're seen, it means that you're also responsible for what's happening here.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a very, it's a common thing that we deal with at Talent Campus is, if we were a rock band as screenwriters, the actors and the directors would be playing lead guitar and singing, and the screenwriters would be playing drums or bass.
Yes.
But actually, part of you does want to be lead guitarist as well.
Yeah.
And it's that tension there that's where the creativity flows from. An understanding that sometimes actually you do have to pick up the guitar and play lead guitar, even if that's pushing you outside your comfort zone. God forbid you have to become the singer. But it can happen, and that's where the juice is.
The comfort zone, that was a big one. I mean, I left my comfort zone so often in this process.
Right.
And you know what? I survived it, and
Sure.
I learned from it, and I grew through it. I feel more confident. I still think I'm an imposter, but I do also feel more confident.
Yeah. Confident imposter. That's
Yes.
the way to do it. Amazing. Okay, so let's flash back to your Talent Campus experience. What were the big takeaways for you that have really stuck with you?
I think number one is the people and the networking. As I said before, I've made some amazing friends. Some of them have become my best friend, period. And we always supported each other, picked each other up, checked in on each other, and had suggestions, read each other's scripts. And when there was an opportunity, it was posted among all the members. That is the biggest takeaway. I mean, what you do with that then, with that information and that help, is up to you. But you've got people looking out for you. You've got people in your field. It's not about competing with each other. Absolutely not. It's about sharing knowledge and information with each other. That's, for me, really the biggest takeaway from Talent Campus.
Right. In terms of your career, can you look back now and see any moments where anything specific that we did or learned on Talent Campus that you utilized?
The pitching practice. And I'm thinking of and walking across fire. And I wonder whether that did something for me more subliminally, because it was this, well, Chris says it's okay, and I trust Chris, so I'll do it. And some others seem to be much more scared of these things than I was. And to be honest, I haven't figured out yet why I wasn't so scared. It's like I trusted you, and that was
Right.
good enough for me. But there's a lesson in that as well. You feel there's something about this person that makes him a good guy, and therefore I will go with his suggestions. And I think that, the film industry is a people industry. It's about money, but it's a people industry. And if you have that feeling with somebody that you can trust them, they're on your side, then you're going to go far, I think.
Amazing. Brilliant. Have you got any other final thoughts about Talent Campus then before we wrap this up?
I would say anybody, certainly at the beginning of their career, must do it, should do it.
Yeah, amazing. Any final advice then for someone in the creative industries? And it can be eat green food, whatever you want.
Oh God, I sound like a broken record. Find your people. Find your people, work with your people. Don't aim for the blockbuster. Aim for finding the right people for creative fulfillment, because from that, if you are working with the right people and you find creative fulfillment, I am convinced that the success will come from that.
Yeah, amazing. Brilliant. Thank you, Vera. That's been amazing. And good luck with the next project. What is the next project? Or you're on a bit of a sabbatical, aren't you, at the moment, resting from the marathon that you've been running?
Yes, yeah. No, I am production manager for a production for a musical. Actually, we're doing our first musical, but I am thinking about the next short film. So
Right.
With my old partner, we're going to be looking at something next year.
Amazing. Brilliant. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that. Thank you again. And if I don't see you before, as usual, I'll see you at the Oscars.
Well, thank you so much for having me here, as they say, and go Talent Campus.
Amazing. Thank you, Vera.